Hello YouTube, this is Sloth from Sloth and Money Radio, live and cut on YouTube, or V from MVTV, whichever you prefer to call me, I do not care. As you can tell, I am in my kitchen. I've got some oranges. And today I'm going to be doing one of our first reviews of something. We're going to be doing food, music, movies, etc., whatever. Hopefully I can do this more often than not. This will be a review of the February 17th, 2014 Monday Night Raw. It's been a long time since I've been able to see Raw on TV. I actually saw a Raw in person since the last time that I've seen a Raw on TV. If that clears it up, which if you listen to our older shows, it's been probably about 6 months. Maybe a little bit longer. I got the indigestion. I missed the first 5 minutes, which upsets me because I missed John Cena coming out and Antonio Cesaro, but he's now just called Cesaro because they've given him a name change. I don't know how you guys feel about the name change. I don't think it really matters because he's so good in the ring. You could call him Shithead McGee, and I would still cheer for the guy. I got my list right here, so I'm going to be turning this way. As you can see, I got the long list. Not a real long list, actually. The start was actually pretty boring. I've never been impressed with Christian, but that's just, you know, I don't like him. Especially since he did the thing where he cut his hair, and his persona, Captain Charisma, and one more match I just can't do. Was he Captain Charisma? Was he? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I've never liked him. It was just a boring match. They're working an angle where Brian got his shoulder injured, and now he's not going to be 100% for the chamber match. Oh, it's a conspiracy against Brian. He'll never be the face of the company. Blah, blah, blah. And then, obviously, after that boring match, we got another boring setup between, oh, I never told you you had a surprise opponent. Me. So Brian had another boring match with Kane, and it started off the first hour with just a bunch of garbage. I'm gonna be bouncing around here on it. I didn't take notes because this is the first time I've ever reviewed a Raw. Reigns beating Henry. That was actually a pretty entertaining match, and I think it showed off Reigns' ability to actually have just brute strength and have a tactfulness about him, even though he was facing an opponent who isn't very good in the ring. You can't really do too much with Mark Henry to make him watchable. He's just one of those people that aren't watchable, except for that one time when he had that salmon suit on and it was all a work. That was awesome. Then we got teased. We got cock teased with the Wyatts coming out and then them backing back out, and everybody was booing. But it was the banter back and forth was amazing. That's funny because we were both thinking the same thing, and then they came down and yeah. We had Swagger beat Kingston. That's what it says on here. It was actually really, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed the match. It was pretty good. It's been a long time since I can say I've seen a good match out of Swagger without somebody getting injured or concussed. I mean, not that those matches were good, but you know what I mean. Then there was a match between Fandango and I can't remember his name right now. We're gonna have dead air. Cobra Man. And Summer Rae got put up with for the spin. I think it was a spin of some sort, and Summer Rae fell on her face very awkwardly, and she made it look very good. She sold it top notch. And then obviously came the second hour main event, if that's what you want to call it, because they kind of split it up. There's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock. There's always something big going on, and the second hour main event was obviously the absolute best match of the night, best match of the month, might be the best match of the year so far. I can't even say it. Best match, not best batch, between Cesaro and Cena, and that God bless him. Cesaro can make a roll of toilet paper look good in the ring. He made Cena look like I would say a veteran, because I know how a lot of people feel about John Cena and his ability to work in the ring. And personally, if you look at old Cena when he was a lot slimmer and much more trim, and he was just a lean guy back when he first started, he was awesome. And they've just kind of cut him back slowly over the years, but recently they've kind of unchained him a little bit, and they've let him do a lot more. And like the Hurricane Rana, and what else is he doing recently? He's been doing this like weird DDT thing. After he rolls up on him, kind of like a power bomb. I've seen it a couple times recently. But the spots, the high points for me in the match. We're gonna see the apron suplex when Cesaro just muscled him up off of the second rope from the apron into the ring was just phenomenal, and it shows off the brute strength that Cesaro has. And the sequence to end the match, I guess it's catch wrestling. I don't know if that's the correct term, because I'm still a newbie, but the way they just had fluid in and out between their moves, and the once again showing off the brute strength of Cena. But we know Cena because he was on the ground, and Cesaro, he was on his knees, and he stood up with Cesaro and it did the attitude adjuster, whatever, what have you. But we've seen Cena pick up, let's see, Ryback, Mark Henry, Great Khali, Big Shoe, yeah, that's right, Big Shoe, and he's Big Show, but when me and my friend text back and forth, we say Big Shoe. We say oh no Big Shoe. But so it's not like a big deal. Cesaro's not a huge guy, but I guess it was an act of brute strength, whatever. We had some pointless banter between Triple H and Randy Orton, and it led up to something awesome, but it was just pointless between him and Randy. It meant nothing. It was garbage time. But then Del Rio ended up showing up because Batista got involved somewhere in there. He came, and then Orton walked off because it just seemed a little bit awkward. Del Rio showed up in a neck brace, and I was totally expecting a super kick, but I didn't get it. I was upset. He said he was going to rip off Batista's arms. Yeah. But the segment made Triple H look like he had no idea how to run his superstars or his company or anything. Like he didn't know what he was doing. He just stood around the entire time. We had a segment where Titus ONeil was cutting a promo on his own, and he got really into it. He got really, really into it, but Titus ONeil is just not the kind of guy you can push as a solo act. El Torito is always fun to watch. He did some stuff, his acrobatics, because he's a tiny guy. He can get away doing his parkour-like stuff on the ring. I want to point this out. Sandow is getting less star time than Goldust. Goldust actually had a bit where he was playing with Legos, and they showed Sandow getting more or less worked over by Darren Young, I think that's his name. Yeah. And then because Goldust and his brother Cody did not have decorum, Bad News Barrett, one of my favorite characters right now, came up and ultra kicked. He punted all of the Legos off the table, and he came out with some bad news for them. The company is still continuing to prove that it has no idea how to utilize its talent in the tag team department. When you have the new Age Outlaws with the tag team titles in 2014, I totally forgot that they had them. The Usos are still not a better choice of having the straps, and neither are the Shield. But maybe it's just devoid of talent. It's been a while since I've kept up with wrestling. The only reason I'm doing this is recently CM Punk left. And I was pretty upset after that Royal Rumble too. He left. But it's weird because it's giving a chance for these lower tier stars to move up and take a place in the company where he was, like Cesaro. Cesaro looks like he's getting a push to the moon soon, even though he lost to Cena. it was a really close match, and it was well done. But you have to excuse me, I had some spaghetti, and it was spaghetti in a can. So there's nothing good that comes out of spaghetti in a can. But no, but I'm coming back. CM Punk wasn't this like top tier guy anymore, but he also wasn't like a mid tier guy. He's just kind of a floater who couldn't have the belt anymore because you've got it on Orton, who is a really good face for the company under the image of what's going on right now. But he doesn't have the it factor that he had when he came back and did when he was there and he did the pipe bomb segment, and he was just rustling everyone's jimmies more or less. That's it. It's just not. He wasn't the same. So I think he's taking time off, or because the E has not released him yet, or something like that. I don't know that we all know the full story. Let's see. The banner and the back and forth between Road Dogg and Jimmy Uso. It doesn't matter. I had to listen to the match to see which Uso it was. It doesn't matter. They're both the same guy. The match was not entertaining, but the banner was entertaining, so that made up for it. And just the tag team division right now is just god awful. It's always it hasn't been right for a long time. Sheamus got interviewed before the match. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but he was interviewed by a black man, and I think they did that to show off and showcase Sheamus's very, very, very whiteness, and make you feel like he's actually much whiter than he really is. Things I noticed: the crowd were a bunch of casuals. They all cheered for Cena and Daniel Bryan, which I have no problem with. That's perfectly fine. But when you have guys like Cesaro coming out, and they didn't even really cheer Orton on that much either. So that is what that is. The last time I went to a show, it was I don't even remember. But Daniel Bryan was there, and it's like the entire place was going to collapse. They were screaming yes so much and so loud that I think they were just saying yes just to say it, because it was in Richmond, Virginia. And even when Orton came out, the whole place lost their mind. Was it Christian? Even when Christian came out, they actually seemed entertained and like they wanted to be there. Maybe it's because you're in like a bigger area like Denver that has a lot of hipsters or something. Speaking of Denver, he got what's his name? Zeb Coulter got the biggest pop of heat the entire night when he pointed out that was it Biggie was going to get beat like the Broncos were beaten by the Seahawks. Good on you, Zeb. Good on you. More or less, I stopped caring about the main event because I don't like to watch Randy Orton in the ring because it's just so slow and just god awful. I like Sheamus. I don't love him. I just like him. I liked him when he was getting a push before, but I'm just not interested anymore. And I more or less walked away to set up the tripod and camera. And then as I was walking back in, I saw that the Shield had showed up and started beating on Mr. Super White Ghost. And then all the participants in the chamber came down, and then the lights went out and the Wyatts showed up. And then we had a showdown, and then a huge big old brawl ensued, and then and then that was it. They cut the show. Ta-da! So I guess on Friday we'll get some more answers. Hopefully I will be playing Magic and not watching wrestling. But if I do have to watch wrestling, I guess I will do another review. I hope you enjoyed this. It was pretty awful. It's my first time trying. But hopefully the next times I can be a little bit louder and much more emotional. But once again, thank you. This is Sloth from Sloth and Money Radio, live and uncut, or V from MVTV. This is the first episode of our series of reviews. Have a nice night.